Yeah, Chris Rossetti, Jess Quinn here. We're on the Coach and the Scribe, brought to you by the Rehab Centers with 6 locations, including locations in Clarion, Brookville, and Katanning. You can reach them today at 724-478-1501. That's
501.
Also, check them out online at therehabcenters.com. That centers the old English way with the R-E instead of the E-R. Jess, a couple of KSAC champions crowned here at Tippin Gym tonight. The Keystone Boys and the North Clarion Girls, 2 teams that lost the title game last year and came back and won it this year. Just overall, your first impressions of the evening.
What a great facility to have it in. New Tippin Gym, there was a great crowd. I just thought, really for the KSAC to come back to Tippin, here on a beautiful floor, I just thought it was an outstanding evening all around.
Saw a couple of comebacks tonight, one a little bit bigger than the other one, but first of all, start with Keystone. It looked like they wore CL out as the game wore on, kind of like they did in the regular season game.
You know what? I've had players, I've coached on this floor, coming from a high school floor, even though it's only a few feet longer, it's a big difference. And when you saw, Hayden Callan and Dion, they were a little bit winded, in that second half, especially in the fourth quarter, and CL is deeper. Keystone is deeper than CL. You had too many guys coming off the bench, and we're able to wear them out.
And we saw, Isaac Jones really stepped up with some key shots when Keystone needed it. The senior came up and hit some big shots.
I tell you what, when he got the ball, you could see the confidence in his face. He took one where he came off a screen at 3-point and just turned, shot the ball, and you could tell as soon as it left his hand, he knew it was going in. He had some dribble drives into the paint. Really nice shots. He just kind of took that game over at that moment when they needed it most.
And then in the girls' game, it looked like it was going to be all Red Bank Valley pulling the upset. They built a 13-point lead late in the first half. They were still up 8 at halftime, and then North Clarion. What more can you say about the She-Wolves at this point? They're 23-0 for a reason, and they showed it again tonight. No panic, no extra pushing or pressure. They just came out and played maybe a perfect second half.
Well, and that's what we talked about, when we watched them play AC Valley early in the year, when we watched them play this Red Bank team. We've seen them so many times, and they don't panic. Their coach does not panic. The players do not panic. There were people saying before the game they had predictions of North Clarion winning, 15, maybe by 20, and then you saw they were down 13 and people were like, I think I'm going to change my prediction. I looked right at them and said, don't. I said, North Clarion is so poised and so calm on the floor, and you saw, and Mackenzie Bauer, what can you say? She came out 3 threes plus an old-fashioned 3 going to the paint. That's why she's your MVP.
Oh yeah, we've just seen it over and over and over again. People ask me what's the difference between this year's North Clarion team and last year's North Clarion team. Dustin Kiefer, who's behind the camera, he was there with me last year when they had a shooting half like that in the first half of the state playoffs, and they couldn't rebound from it. What you saw tonight was a team that's more poised than we saw a year ago, a team that looks like it's really on a mission to do something special, and a team that's been there, done that, won championships, and if there was anything that separated them from Red Bank Valley in the second half, I think it was just an experience factor.
It really is, but if you look at, you have Mackenzie Bauer, she's your MVP, but you look at Abby Gatesman and the work she did. I talked about it at halftime. She's going to have to do work in the paint because you don't have Sherman, and she did that. She came out, she shot a 3 first in the second half, missed it, but then everything else was in the paint. And you look at the rest of those girls, how they just step up. Gabby Schmader, just an absolute demon on defense. And you just look, Thompson getting rebounds, playing solid defense. It takes, that effort from those individual players who don't care whether they are named the MVP, who don't care if they get the limelight. And that's why they're undefeated. That's why they're KSAC champs.
Now all 4 of these teams go into the district playoffs. 2 of them in AA, Keystone Boys, Red Bank Girls, 2 of them in Single A, the CL Boys and the North Clarion Girls. I think we'd all say that North Clarion has the best chance of the group to win a district title again. Who has the second best chance?
Boy, is that a tough question. And I say that because you look at what happened the other night with Brookville and Du Bois. I know we're talking about 2 different things, but it's been like that all year long, where you think you have a favorite going into the game, and it doesn't turn out that way whatsoever. You know, you look at Elk coming in single way out of the North. I mean,
yeah, you'd have to think that Elk,
you would have
Elk
to
or
give it to
Johnsonburg. I
them.
mean, I know they were in a tight battle in that AML North and that AML title game. So I think that, you know, one of those two teams is your favorite in A. Unfortunately for them, they're on the same side of the bracket.
They are.
So you've got CL, which I think has a decent shot at getting to the championship game, but you know, there's teams like Otto Eldred, teams like Cameron County, North Clarion even in that grouping that are going to push them.
Absolutely.
Double A, I like Keystone. You know, they get that bye into the semifinals, but then they've got to play either Karn City or Clarion. Now they've had no trouble with Karn City, but you know what the old saying is about beating a team 3 times in the same year.
Right.
Clarion has given them absolute utter fits.
Absolutely.
You know, they won a game on a buzzer beater against Clarion. They lost badly to them by 13 when they scored only 29 points. So really, I think they're going to have to do some work if they want to get there. The Double A girls, I mean, it's wide open.
It is wide open.
There's 8 teams, 1 seed's Ridgeway, 8 seeds Brockway. Hey, either of those teams could win the championship. Anybody in between could win the championship. Red Bank's got to play Kane, who just got done winning the AML title.
Right.
Think about that. You're the 2nd seed, and you've got to play the AML champion. It's legitimately unbelievable how evenly matched that Double A field's going to be, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to watch it. I can't wait for the playoffs to start next week. Games Thursday, games Friday. I think right now we have at least 5 games for you between those 2 days. I think you, me, and Dustin are going to be up in St. Mary's on Friday night.
Right.
Doubleheader up there. Port Allegheny girls, Clarion girls. That should be a great game.
It should be.
CL Otto Eldred. That game went to overtime last year in the first round. Can't wait for those games. Mike and Bob are going to be down at DuBois. AC Valley Johnsonburg and Brockway Ridgeway girls also in that one. On Thursday night, we're going to have that rematch between Clarion and Karn City. They're 1-1 against each other. Clarion just beat them last week.
It's a rubber match.
Boy,
That's
it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for the District 9 playoffs to start.
And, you know, and if you look at that, and that's exactly what you want coming into the playoffs. You don't want to, you know, have somebody steamrolling their way right through. I mean, I know North Clarion is really playing some really good basketball right now, but, you know, you want to go into that match, and people were asking me, what do you think about that? The KSAC championship tonight when we're looking at CL Keystone. I said Keystone's going to have to shoot well. They didn't when they played CL. They found a way to win. They came out tonight, and, you know, it was a great game. So when you go and you look at the way that this playoff, the District 9 playoffs are set up, it is going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun.
No question. Hey, that's it for tonight's edition of The Coach and the Scribe. He's Jess Quinn. I'm Chris Rossetti. We're brought to you by the Rehab Centers with locations in Clarion, Katanning, Brookville, and 3 other ones. They're all over the place. You can't not end up coming up and seeing them. Again, how do you reach them, Jess?
724-478-1501.
www.therehabcenters.com. That's RE at the end with centers. That's the old English way of doing it. Hey, until later in the week when we're in the District 9 playoffs, this is Chris Rossetti saying good night.